Hello YouTube, this is Kranos43 with another Out of the Box. And this time we have from the vault, from the vault, Premium Deck Graveborn. This is by far one of the most interesting decks I've ever seen. And you get to see why as soon as I find my scissors, that way I can open this thing. Because I'll be damned if I... Just happens to be in the same cup as my camera. And my camera's sinking. 199 videos, and now my camera decides to stop cooperating. One thing I like about the premium decks, besides the packaging, is that they try to use a different foil process most of the time. But then they use a different foil process with the from the vaults too. And it too comes with a nice little spin down life counter, where the 20 is replaced with that. Right there. Yep, right there. Now, 10 of the cards are packaged on the outside. Naturally, of course, they don't want to cooperate and come out of the packaging. Cooperating would be plain and would be simple. Now, the theme of the deck is to get creatures into your graveyard as quickly as possible, and then using other spells and abilities to get them out. And of course, it comes with the paper that tells you how to play the deck, and the Learn to Play Magic thing. Because some people actually use these to learn how to play Magic. Which is kind of neat, in my opinion. Let's see. And of course, it's a mono. Other than, you know, the random cards of other colors, it's mainly a black deck. All the lands are black. With the exception of, well, with no exceptions. So let's look at the cards in the only way we can. Sphinx of the Steel Wind. Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink, Pro Red, Pro Green, 6/6 for 8. If there's more than just black in the mana cost, you can pretty much assume that there's going to be alternate ways of getting it out. Crosis. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and a black. If you do choose a color, that player reveals his or her hand and discards all cards of said color. Reanimate. Put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to the converted mana cost. Buried Alive. Search the library for up to 3 creatures. Put them into your graveyard. Hidden Horror. When it enters play, sacrifice it unless you discard a creature. Animate Dead. That's a lot. Basically, it enchants a creature. That creature gets It enchants a creature in a graveyard. That creature is -1/-0. And when this card is destroyed, you destroy the creature it's enchanting, essentially. And yep, that's basically what it does. Cabal Therapy. Name an online card. Target player reveals his or her hand and discards all cards of that name. Entomb. Search your library for a card and put it in your graveyard. Avatar of Woe. Ah, the Avatar. She costs 2 black if there's 10 or more creatures total in all graveyards. Got Fear, and you can tap her to destroy a creature. Zombie Infestation. Discard 2 cards, put a 2/2 black zombie onto the battlefield. Brains. Putrid Imp. Discard a card, gains flying till end of turn. As long as 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, it gets +1/+1 and cannot block. Another Putrid Imp. Another Hidden Horror. Faceless Butcher. Exile target creature other than Faceless Butcher when it enters the battlefield. When it leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to the battlefield. Twisted Abomination. 3/3 regenerate with Swamp Cycling. Pretty straightforward. Whoops. And now some of the wackier ones. Terastodon. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy up to 3 target non-creatures. For each permanent put in a graveyard this way, its controller puts a 3/3 elephant onto the battlefield. Verdant Force. At the beginning of each upkeep, put a 1/1 Saproling on the battlefield. Inkwell Leviathan. Island Walk, Trample, Shroud. 7/11. No more needs to be said. Blazing Archon. Creatures cannot attack you, and flying. Duress. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land, and it's discarded. Another Animate Dead. Another Animate Dead. Exhume. Each player puts a creature card from his or her graveyard onto the battlefield. A couple of Exhumes in here. Sickening Dreams. Discard X cards as an additional cost to cast. Deals X damage to each creature and each player. It's a big pestilence. Buried Alive. Search your library for up to 3 creatures. Put them into your graveyard. Last Rites. Discard any number of cards. Target player reveals his or her hand. Then you choose a non-land card from it. For each card discarded, and yeah. I'm sure you can see a pattern here. Diabolic Servitude. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. When the creature put on the battlefield, Diabolic Servitude dies. Exile it and return Diabolic Servitude to its owner's hand. When it leaves the battlefield, exile the creature put onto the battlefield with Diabolic. Wow. It does something similar to Animate Dead. Dread Return. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Here are the only non-swamp lands in here. Crystal Vein, tap for 1, tap sack for 2. Ebon Stronghold. Enters battlefield tapped, tap for a black, tap and sack for 2 black. Polluted Mire. Enters tapped, tap add a black, cycling 2, and everything else is a swamp. That is the Graveborn deck. It is interesting, to say the least. It's going to be an interesting deck to try out. I've never been much of a graveyard manipulation kind of person. But we'll see how it works. Anyway, this is going up. It is 8:36 on November 20th. This is going up as soon as I'm done recording. And then tomorrow, video 200, which was sort of requested by somebody. He wanted me to open up a fat pack of Innistrad. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't get my hands on a fat pack of Innistrad. Did get my hands on something a little better. And I did get my hands on something a little better, and I will be cracking it open for video 200. Aha! Peace!